Welcome, friends. As per our GST refresher course series, and as per my commitment, we are now starting with the circular series, wherein we intend to discuss all the relevant circulars step by step. If any circular does not have any relevance as on date, because that might have been issued 3 months or 3 years ago. So because of that, if the relevance is not there, I'll just mention the circular and then we'll skip. But we intend to cover each and every circular which have been issued by the board till date. Around 137 circulars have been issued. So we'll be starting with circular number 1, and we have the intention of recording 5 circulars in one video. So as many as videos are required, we'll be recording that. But today it is video number 1, which will cover circular number 1 to circular number 5. So friends, I'll be directly displaying through the screen of CBIC, and let us go to the circular number 1, which is issued by the board on 26th of June 2017. And the circular number 1 is basically with regards to the proper officer nominations as required in sections or various sections of the CGST law. So friends, as we all know that proper officer is covered under clause 91 of section 2 of the CGST Act. So within the powers which have been given to the authorities under 2, that is section 2 clause 91 of the CGST, read with section 20 of the IGST Act, which borrows the provisions of CGST as it is, and subject to section 5 subsection 2, the board hereby appoint the following officers or assign the duties of the following sections to the following officers which have been mentioned below. So I'll not be reading those positions, but we'll just have a glimpse and then we'll move to the another circular. So in this circular, this is the first circular issued in GST on 26th of June 2017, and they say that this has been issued an exercise of the powers under section 291 read with section 20 of the IGST Act and subject to section 5 subsection 2 of the CGST Act, and board is assigning the functions to the authorities, or rather to the proper officers, the designation of whom is being mentioned in column number 2, and the sections for which they will have the power or the functions which have been allotted to them under different sections is specified in column number 3. So friends, you can just have a look. Assistant Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner of Central Tax and the Assistant or Deputy Commissioner of the Central Tax. Deputy Directors of Central Tax. So there is two wing. One is the executive wing, wherein we have Assistant Commissioner and the Deputy Commissioner, and the other one is the investigation wing, which is DGGI, wherein we have Assistant Directors and Deputy Directors. To them, the powers have been given, which is specified on right hand side, that is column number 3. I'll not be dealing in this because the day when this circular has came out, till that date we have the notifications and the uh, sections which were active, and those sections were only in relation to the registration part, because the government has started coming out with notifications on 19th of June 2017, wherein they have started the process of registration under GST law. So all those sections like section 10, section 27, section 30, which relates to revocation of cancellation, 27 which relates to casual taxable person and the non-resident taxable person, section 10 which relates to the composition levy. So these are the functions which have been empowered to Assistant Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner of Central Tax and the Assistant or Deputy Directors of the Central Tax. Moving further, Superintendent of Central Tax. So these are the powers which have been allotted to them, like Section 25, the registration procedure, 28, 29, all these powers have been assigned to Superintendent of Central Tax. Now friends, this particular circular has relevance. Although we are aware that circulars are never binding on the taxpayer, it is binding on the department. But still, I would say these are the circulars on which you will have to rely. And if any authority is acting without any authority of law, or rather which is not specified in the circular, then you can very well challenge that action, and that action will be bad in law. So therefore, we need to have knowledge of all these circulars which are issued for the internal purpose of the departmental officers, because they empower to invoke the provisions or the functions specified in the provisions of the law to certain officers, and these are the officers to whom the powers or the functions have been entrusted. So this was circular number 1. Now let us move to circular number 2, which again provides for, the circular number 2 has been issued by board on 4th of July 2017, that is post implementation of GST, and this deals with issue related to furnishing of bond, letter of undertaking for exports. As we all are aware that there is a concept of zero rated supply under GST, and for exports there are two ways of doing the exports. One, the export can be done with the payment of tax, that is IGST, and the export can be done without the payment of tax, that is under LUT or bond. So this circular is with the intention of clarifying certain doubts or certain issues which relates to furnishing of bond or letter of undertaking. Now, various communications were received by the departmental officers or the council or the board with relation to exports without payment of duty and the filing of RFD 11. RFD 11 was the form which was required to be submitted for getting the LUT, that is letter of undertaking or bond. But this form was not made online, and that raised a lot of disputes and a lot of questions and queries. Now, moving to point number 2, it says Rule 96A of the Central Goods and Services Tax Act provides for the registered person availing the option of exporting the goods or services without payment of tax, that they shall furnish prior to export a bond or letter of undertaking, and that was supposed to be furnished in form GST RFD 0 RFD 11 on the common portal. And then there was a circular of customs also of 1st July 2017, wherein it was clarified that the procedure as prescribed in 96A of the said rules required to be followed for the exports from 1st July 2017. And friends, please appreciate that this is a circular. The circular which we are reading is dated 4th July 2017, that is post 1st July 2017. So a lot of hue and cry was there because the function on the common portal was not there, and RFD 11, that is the letter of undertaking form, was not there online. So another issue which was raised by the various stakeholders was that the bond or the letter of undertaking which is required to be given and which is to be furnished to the jurisdictional commissioner as per provisions of 96A of Sub Rule 1. So they have said that it was not possible for everyone to approach the jurisdictional commissioner because of the distance or the practical difficulties, and therefore they were of the belief that this is going to cause huge hardship to the exporters, and therefore this circular came in rescue for them. And then in exercise of section 5 subsection 3, the powers for issuance of bond or letter of undertaking was given, or rather it was assigned to jurisdictional deputy and the assistant commissioner. तो फ्रेंड्स क्या हुआ कि ओरिजिनली 96A के हिसाब से जुरिसडिक्शनल कमिश्नर के पास ये एम्पावरमेंट था कि वो लेटर ऑफ अंडरटेकिंग या बॉन्ड इशू कर सकता है, बट प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टी और लोकेशन के इश्यूज लग के फाइनली ये डिसाइड किया गया कि सेक्शन 5 सब सेक्शन 3 को इन्वोक किया जाए और बॉन्ड और लेटर ऑफ अंडरटेकिंग जो है, जो एक्सपोर्टर को फर्निश करना है, वो ज्यूरिसडिक्शनल डेप्यूटी और असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर को भी असाइन किया गया कि वो लोग इसको इशू कर सकते हैं. तो फ्रेंड्स, दिस वाज अ गुड मूव because there are many jurisdictional and assistant commissioners within the jurisdiction and the commissioner, whereas there is only one commissioner. So it was being very difficult. So they have invoked the provisions of section 5 subsection 3 and given the powers to the jurisdictional deputy and assistant commissioners. Moving further, they said that in exercise of the powers under section 168, they have issued this, and यूनानिमस हो या यूनिक या यूनिफॉर्म तरीके से फुलफिल किया जाए GST law ka implementation. So they have issued this circular, and the bond or letter of undertaking which was required to be furnished under 96A was allowed to be furnished manually. जब तक जैसे मैंने बोला कि पोर्टल पे अवेलेबल ही नहीं था RFD 11, तो जिन लोगों को एक्सपोर्ट करना है या SEZ में सप्लाईज करना है, वो लोग क्या करेंगे? दे कैन नॉट होल्ड अप देयर consignment. So therefore, they have allowed the form to be filed manually till the model of RFD 11 was available on the common portal, and therefore the exporters can download it from the website of the CBIC, and then from that downloaded form can be duly furnished to the jurisdictional deputy and assistant commissioner, and then they were supposed to issue the letter of undertaking or the bond, and which will be the instrument for uh, exporting the goods or services without the payment of tax. So friends, this was circular number 2 that was issued on 4th July 2017. uh, I will not say that this circular is irrelevant, because there are amendments to this circular, but still I would say this is one of the very important circulars of CGST. Moving further, circular number 3. Again, as I said that from 19th of June 2017, the government started issuing notifications, and 1/2017 was the notification which was issued, which has imposed, or rather I would say, which has made effective certain sections of the CGST Act, like section 1. It was made effective from 22nd of June 2017. So first circular that we read, that is circular number 1/2017, was with relation to the powers which were assigned under section 5, read with section 2 clause 91, read with section 20 of the IGST Act. Now further to that, there are another powers which are, or rather I would say, another functions specified under various sections which have been allotted to the officers. Again, it is an extension, I would say, of circular number 1/2017. Now friends, why these circulars are important? The reason why these circulars are important, because at the time of adjudication or any dispute, when you raise a query that this is beyond the power of the officer, you will have to refer and prove that this circular is effective to them. They are bound to follow these circulars, and this circular does not empower the proper officer or the respective officer to invoke the power within a particular section. Let me give an example. The provisional attachment. Provisional attachment can be done under section 83 of the CGST Act, and the officer which is empowered to do is commissioner. Now the question arises, if this circular has no mention about this power being assigned to someone else, it means that now the only officer which can, or who can enforce or impose that section 83 power is commissioner, like, which is the officer who is referred to in the statute. इसके अलावा कोई भी नहीं कर पाएगा. अगर कमिश्नर लिखा है तो कमिश्नर ही कर पाएगा. अगर बोर्ड का कमिश्नर नोटिफिकेशन इशू करता है या सर्कुलर इशू करता है जहां पे वो एम्पावर करता है किसी दूसरे ऑफिसर को कि वो सेक्शन 83 इन्वोक कर सकता है, तो ही वो कर पाएगा. सो देयरफॉर these circulars becomes very important for us at the time of any dispute or at the time of litigations, to find out whether the power which is invoked by them is proper and is properly entrusted on them by way of a circular or a notice or a notification. तो ये बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है, क्योंकि जनरली गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर्स यहाँ पे केयरलेस हो जाते हैं, एंड वी कैन मेक यूज ऑफ दैट. सो फ्रेंड्स, ये वही सर्कुलर है जो उसका एक्सटेंशन है 1/2017 का. वहां पे चूंकि रजिस्ट्रेशन ही इफेक्टिव था, सो दे हैव गिवन ऑल द रजिस्ट्रेशन रिलेटेड पावर्स टू असिस्टेंट एंड डेप्यूटी कमिश्नर्स, assistant and deputy director, and the superintendent. यहाँ पे rest of the sections are made effective, like section 67 which relates to inspection, search and seizure, section 78, section 71, 81. So all these powers are now assigned to principal commissioner or commissioner of central tax, additional or joint commissioner. So various sections you may refer. These are not the sections which are related to the registration. These are the sections which are covering the entire law, entire CGST Act per se. So you can see this circular, and these circulars are the Ramban, I would say, because whenever any dispute or any power is invoked by any officer, you can simply see these circulars and find out whether those powers are within the authority of law or not. So I'm not going into detail. Superintendent and the inspector, all the powers, the sections and the powers which are empowered, or the subsections, the functions in the subsections which is allotted to them can be referred from here, and then you can catch hold of those guys or those officers who are not within the authority of law. Moving further, friends, circular number 4, it deals with again the issues regarding to bond or letter of undertaking. Friends, this is a lengthy and I would say a larger version or a longer version of the circular, but the facts are same as we have read 2/2017, the original one, उसी का एक्सटेंशन है ये। यहाँ पे उसके अलावा जो इश्यूज थे, वहाँ क्या इश्यूज एड्रेस किए कि एलयूटी कैसे इशू किया जाए, बिकॉज कॉमन पोर्टल पे तो है ही नहीं, तो उन्होंने कह दिया कि आप मैनुअली कर सकते हो। दूसरा इशू क्या था कि कमिश्नर के जुरिस्डिक्शन में तो हर व्यक्ति तो कमिश्नर के पास पहुंच नहीं सकता, जुरिस्डिक्शन का और लोकेशन का इशू रहेगा, तो वहां पे बोल दिया कि ठीक है आप अपने जुरिस्डिक्शनल और असिस्टेंट जुरिस्डिक्शनल असिस्टेंट और डिप्टी कमिश्नर में से किसी के पास भी चले जाओ। ये उसका एक्सटेंशन है। यहाँ पे भी सेक्शन 168 को यूज किया है और यूनिफॉर्मिटी ऑफ द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ द एक्ट के लिए इस सर्कुलर को इशू किया गया। एंड फर्स्ट है इसमें कि 96A के हिसाब से the goods can be exported or the services can be exported without payment of tax by way of furnishing a bond or security in RFD 11. Now there has been attention to notification number 16/2017 of central tax, which says that the category of exporters who are eligible to export under LUT has been specified along with the conditions and safeguards कि कौन कर सकते हैं, कैसे कर सकते हैं। All the exporters not covered by the said notification would submit the bond. जो भी उसमें है वो सब बॉन्ड सबमिट करेंगे जो उनमें कवर्ड नहीं है। Procedure for submission and acceptance of board has already been prescribed 2/2017 that we have already referred and discussed. The bond shall be furnished on non-judicial stamp paper of the value as applicable in the state in which bond is furnished. तो हर स्टेट का अलग से स्टैंपिंग का रूल्स है, you will have to refer that and accordingly उतनी स्टैम्प पेपर का आपको बॉन्ड इशू करना या बॉन्ड में स्टैंप्स लगाने पड़ेंगे, नॉन जुडिशियल स्टैम्प पेपर। नाउ अ क्लैरिफिकेशन मांगा गया उनसे कि whether the bond which is to be submitted has to be per export, that is one time bond, per time we'll export, every time we'll have to give a bond, or it's a running bond, like एक बार दे दिया तो वो कंटिन्यूस पूरे साल के लिए चलेगा। Then the answer was RFD 11 has to be given as a running bond, otherwise अगर हर बार मांगेंगे, हर एक्सपोर्ट के लिए मांगेंगे तो it will be a huge compliance cost to the taxpayer and therefore running चलेगा। लेकिन the condition imposed was कि एक्सपोर्ट में जितना टैक्स का अमाउंट रहेगा उससे ज्यादा अगर हो रहा होगा, बॉन्ड की वैल्यू से ज्यादा अगर हो रहा होगा, तो they will have to give additional bond, they will have to execute the additional bond. Further it says that they may require a bank guarantee also. So they have now said that they may require a bank guarantee along with bond. It depends on the status of the exporter and the track record of the officer. But in certain cases where the track record and the status of the exporter is good, the bank guarantee can be waived. But in other cases, the bank guarantee can be invoked or imposed on the taxpayer, on the exporter, but the value of bank guarantee cannot exceed. It cannot exceed in the normal circumstance 15% of the bond value. That is what is clarified. Further, it is clarified that the जो ये LUT issue होगा that will be valid till 12 months. It will be valid till 12 months. और 1 July 2017 से जो export start हुए हैं, so they are allowed to export till 31st July. By 31st July, they have to get the LUT or the bond issued. Now it is further stated that bond or LUT will be accepted by the jurisdictional deputy commissioner or the assistant commissioner who has this jurisdiction over the principal place of business of the exporter, and the exporter is having a liberty to furnish the bond before the central authority or the state authority till the administrative mechanism for assigning the taxpayer to respective authority is implemented. तो ये भी उनको बोल दिया कि जब तक ये jurisdictional authorities डिवाइड नहीं हो, यानी स्टेट और सेंटर का डिवीजन नहीं हो, तब तक सेंट्रल अथॉरिटी को एम्पावर कर दिया कि वो वहां पे फर्निश कर सकता है एक्सपोर्टर, उसके पास वो लिबर्टी है कि वो जुरिस्डिक्शन अपना भूल जाए और वो सेंट्रल अथॉरिटी के पास जमा कर दे। हाउएवर, if in a state the commissioner of state tax so directs by general instruction to exporter, the bond or LAT in all cases can be accepted by central tax officer. अगर लेट्स से गुजरात है, गुजरात का स्टेट कमिश्नर जो है वो एम्पावर कर देता है और एक जनरल लेटर इशू कर देता है, यस, then in that cases, in all the situations where whether my jurisdiction is state or my jurisdiction is center, but the exporter can, or I as an exporter can directly file the LUT or bond before the central tax officers till such time the administrative mechanism is implemented. So this also has been clarified and this is a good clarification, I would say. Moving further, एक और सर्कुलर है 26/2017 कस्टम्स का 1 जुलाई का, which was referred in 2/2017 also. Now it has been clarified in that the existing practice of sealing the container with a bottle seal under central excise supervision or otherwise would continue till 1st September. 1st September तक उसको कंटिन्यू किया जाएगा, लेकिन such sealing has to be done in the presence of the supervision or the under the supervision of the officer or in presence of the supervising officer having the physical jurisdiction over the place of business where the sealing is being done. So this is to be kept in mind कि वो जो सीलिंग प्रोसेस था एक्साइज का, सेम प्रोसेस 1 सितंबर तक कंटिन्यू रहेगा एंड द ऑफिसर हु हैज द जुरिस्डिक्शन, फिजिकल जुरिस्डिक्शन ओवर दैट प्लेस where the sealing is to be done, he will be the officer under whose supervision the sealing will be done, and the copy of the sealing report will be submitted to the jurisdictional deputy or the assistant commissioner who has the jurisdiction over the principal place of business. So friends, these instructions shall be applicable for all the exports starting from 1st July 2017. So this is again a clarification or the issues which were being questioned before the board and the board has clarified. और ये बहुत अच्छा इसमें clarification इन्होंने दिया है कि आप जो मैनुअली वहां पे फाइल कर रहे थे, यहाँ पे इन्होंने ये भी कह दिया कि आप स्टैम्प पे करेंगे, ये भी कह दिया कि कुछ केसेस में हम आपको बैंक गारंटी भी लेंगे लेकिन 15% ज्यादा बैंक गारंटी नहीं होगा। ये भी क्लैरिफाई कर दिया कि एक रनिंग बॉन्ड होगा, ये बॉन्ड हर बार एक्सपोर्ट करोगे तो हर बार नया बॉन्ड होगा, वो जरूरत नहीं है। प्लस ये भी कह दिया कि 12 मंथ्स की वैलिडिटी होगी और 31 जुलाई तक, यानी जुलाई में आप एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए परमिसेबल है अगर आपके पास एलयूटी नहीं है, लेकिन 31 जुलाई तक आपके पास ये बॉन्ड आपको एग्जीक्यूट करा देना है। एंड देन फर्दर जो बेस्ट पार्ट उन्होंने ये भी कह दिया साथ में कि जब तक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव मैकेनिज्म नहीं होता तो सेंट्रल अथॉरिटी के पास आप जा सकते थे, ऑल्दो ये बातें पुरानी हो गई, दैट इज नॉट हैविंग दैट मच ऑफ रेलेवेंस एज ऑन डे। सो दिस सर्कुलर as per me was a good circular 4/2017. And now moving to 5/2017, the last circular for this video. I think internet is slow now. Oh yeah, this is a circular which is again clarifying the issues which are pertaining to bond or LUT. I will not run step by step or point by point. I will just read the important aspects here because already 2/2017 and 4/2017 we have discussed at length. So first was eligibility to export under LUT. So already बता दिया गया है कि आप कैसे कर सकते हैं। यहाँ लेकिन उन्होंने क्या बोला है कि इस नोटिफिकेशन जो 16/2017 इन्होंने नोटिफिकेशन निकाला था, दैट वाज हैविंग एन इंटेंशन टू लिबरलाइज द फैसिलिटी ऑफ LUT. नाउ यहाँ एक रिस्ट्रिक्शन इन्होंने ये डाल दी कि आपका जो प्रीवियस ईयर में आप अभी LUT के लिए जा रहे हैं, प्रीवियस ईयर में आपके पास 10% ऑफ द एक्सपोर्ट वैल्यू जो आपने एक्सपोर्ट किया था उसके फॉरेन रेमिटेंस 10% और 1 करोड़ विच एवर इज हायर आपके पास आने चाहिए। यानी 1 करोड़ से नीचे अगर आपके पास पैसा आया है कन्वर्टेबल फॉरेन एक्सचेंज में प्रीवियस फाइनेंशियल ईयर में, तो फिर आपको LUT के लिए एलिजिबिलिटी नहीं है। इन शॉर्ट दे हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड दिस। सो पहला एग्जांपल अगर आप देखो तो 15 करोड़ का एक्सपोर्ट था, कम से कम 1.5 करोड़ का कलेक्शन उसका रेमिटेंस आना चाहिए था एक्सपोर्ट का, अगर उससे कम आया तो नहीं मिलेगा। दूसरा 5 करोड़ था तो 50 लाख 10% होता है या 1 करोड़ रुपए, तो 10% विल नॉट बी एक्सरसाइज, 1 करोड़ मिनिमम कलेक्शन होना चाहिए था। अगर उससे कम रेमिटेंस है देन दी LUT विल नॉट बी अलाउड टू देम। Further it is said कि ये जो ऊपर जो conditions है, these conditions are not applicable in case of 3.20 and 3.21 स्टेटस होल्डर्स जो है फॉरेन ट्रेड पॉलिसी 1520। तो इसमें वो हैं जो स्टार एक्सपोर्ट हाउसेस होते हैं। स्टार एक्सपोर्ट हाउसेस को ऊपर जो लिखी हुई कंडीशन है वो एप्लीकेबल नहीं होंगी। वो ये कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई करे या नहीं करे, उसको एक्सपोर्ट का एलयूटी मिल जाएगा। फॉर्म ऑफ एलयूटी वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड, नॉन जुडिशियल स्टैम्प पेपर पे लगेगा, जो एक कोई फॉर्मेट नहीं है, उसके कोई लेटर हेड पे जिसमें सिग्नेचर और सील होगी पर्सन की, उसके हिसाब से चलेगा। टाइम फॉर एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ एलयूटी 3 वर्किंग डेज में, क्योंकि बहुत सारे एक्सपोर्ट्स होंगे तो लोगों का काम अटक जाएगा। सो दे डोंट वांट, और द गवर्नमेंट हैज टेकन द इनिशिएटिव दैट द एक्सपोर्ट शुड नॉट बी ब्लॉक्ड including the supplies to SEZ and SEZ units, and therefore they have said that within 3 days, 3 working days, from the date of submission of the LUT or bond, they should complete. Then purchases from manufacturers and CT1, जो पहले हुआ करता था कि आप मैन्युफैक्चरर जो है एक्सपोर्टर को देता था और एक्सपोर्टर उसको एक्सपोर्ट करता था, वो प्रोसेस जीएसटी में नहीं है। सो देयरफॉर इन दिस केस, मैं अगर मर्चेंट एक्सपोर्टर हूँ तो मुझे इसको GST की एप्लीकेबिलिटी होगी एज अ मैन्युफैक्चरर, एंड आई विल हैव टू पे GST एंड देन गिव टू द एक्सपोर्टर। So there will be no exception or exemptions. Transactions with EOU, zero rating में या zero supplies में, zero rating supplies में EOUs are not applicable there. It is not applicable to the EOUs, and therefore EOUs को आप जो भी सप्लाई करेंगे उसके ऊपर GST लगेगा, that they have clarified. Forward inward remittance in Indian rupees, this they have said कि there are in certain situations they are receiving the remittances in Indian rupee, जैसे नेपाल में एक्सपोर्ट किया आपने या भूटान पे किया, या SEZ डेवलपर जो इंडिया में ही SEZ है, गुजरात के अंदर अगर मैं सूरत की बात करूं तो यहाँ सचिन में सुरसेज में एक SEZ है, तो अगर मैं वहां पे दूंगा तो पैसा मेरे पास कैश में आएगा। सो अगर RBI के परमिशन के लिमिट्स में है, then that is permissible. They are clarifying in this paragraph. If it is clarified that acceptance of LUT for supplies of goods to Nepal, Bhutan or SEZ developer or SEZ unit will be permissible irrespective of whether the payments are made in Indian currency or convertible foreign exchange. So they have clarified this, and therefore अगर RBI की guidelines के हिसाब से है तो वो मिलेगा। Then comes the bank guarantee. They have already said 4/2017 जो 7 जुलाई का था, हमने ऑलरेडी देखा कि 15% से ज्यादा बैंक गारंटी नहीं हो सकता, और कमिश्नर के पास पावर्स है कि वो बैंक गारंटी को वेव भी कर सकता है डिपेंडिंग ऑन द फैक्ट्स एंड सर्कमस्टांसेस ऑफ द केस एंड आल्सो द स्टेटस ऑफ द exporter. So it is expected, then they are saying that it is expected that the provision would be implemented liberally. Jurisdictional officer, it has been clarified कि 2/2017 कि jurisdictional officer is now deputy commissioner and assistant commissioner having jurisdiction over the principal place of business, and therefore the exporter has the liberty to approach his jurisdictional officer, and it was also clarified कि वो अपने सेंट्रल ऑफिसर के पास जा सकता है जब तक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव मैकेनिज्म पूरी तरीके से सेटल नहीं होता। डॉक्यूमेंट्स फॉर LUT, again the documents are like documents have to be submitted as proof of fulfilling the conditions of LUT, and they will have to accept it unless there is something which is evidential that something is wrong. So self declaration shall be accepted unless there is specific information otherwise. अगर मेरे खिलाफ में कोई एविडेंस है गलत या कोई क्या बोल सकते हैं कि कोई इंफॉर्मेशन है तो ही वो उस पर डाउट कर सकता है, अदरवाइज सेल्फ डिक्लेरेशन इज सफिशिएंट फॉर बीइंग द for the purpose of getting the LUT. Now verification, if any, may be done on post facto basis, and similarly status holder exporters have been given the facility of LUT under the said notification. Applicability of circulars on bond or LUT, it is learned from the special field officers that inferred that instructions given by the said circulars are effective in respect of exports made only from the date of its issue, in spite of the fact that it has categorically specifically in said circular that the instruction shall be applicable for exports on or after 1st July 2017. It is reiterated that the instructions issued by said circular and the circular are applicable to any export made on or after 1st July 2017. So therefore, these circulars are effective from 1st July 2017 and exports made thereafter. So friends, this was the video number 1 that we have recorded for the purpose of discussion of circulars, and I've tried to cover circular number 1 to circular number 5, and we'll be issuing another videos for the rest of the circulars. Friends, thank you so much for giving the patience hearing, and I hope that this series and this videos are going to be useful to each one of you. Thank you, friends. Thank you very much.